one thing I can say about whether it's film, whether it's restaurant industry, just, any business, like taking these small failures, as long as you have small failures, right? You can get back up, get yourself off and keep going. I love the small failures because I learned so much, man. It's taught me
100%.
Yeah, it's taught me how to like walk into any room and negotiate and understand what's going on.
I'm Ndamukong Suh, and welcome to No Free Lunch, where we have real conversations with athletes, business leaders, and experts about what it actually takes to succeed at the highest level. Danny, what's up, man?
Living good, man. Living good. Conversation today with a guy. I think about players that were just physically blessed in a different way. Ndamukong Suh. Guys that could just flip a switch and just impose their will. Similar to yourself, our guest today, Vernon Davis, is one of those guys who's just like a physical freak, on the field. But not only that, I think another interesting part about him and his story is from DC, grew up, in DC in a specific environment, but through his life has really paralleled his upbringing in football with like creativity and when it comes to acting or art in general. He has like this cool duality that I think a lot of athletes don't get a chance to express.
I heard of Vernon Davis for the first time from my best friend, David Harvey. And he's from the DC area, Capitol Heights, even though I know he's from the Maryland side. So I'd always give him crap about, bro, you're really from Maryland. But ultimately, he's just, that's where I first heard of him. And he was obviously coming out of high school from there and looked up to him. So I'm excited to hopefully get to know Vernon a little bit more and learn about what it was like growing up in the DC area and like the impression that he had on younger kids, especially going pro and being from that city and town.
Yeah, the chocolate city.
Chocolate City for sure, man. Well, let's talk about it right here on No Free Lunch. Vernon, man, welcome to the show, boss, man. Good to see you and pleasure to connect.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No doubt. I want to jump right into it. Obviously, you're from DC, Washington, D.C. You're the eldest of 7 kids and primarily raised by your grandparents. Tell me what it was like growing up in DC, but also the core values that were imposed on you from your grandparents and growing up in that type of environment.
Yeah, growing up in DC was it was tough. It was a challenge, and I'm sure a lot of people who grew up in the inner city can attest to that. But just growing up without my mom and dad around, having my grandparents care for me and my 6 siblings was a challenge for them. It also presented a challenge for me because it's one of those neighborhoods where you walk off the porch, you look to the left, there's a store, to the right, there's like 30 dudes on the corner slinging drugs. You know what I mean? So it was a big challenge, but I was able to stay resilient and, find something within myself and make it up.
That's impressive. And one of my best friends, as I mentioned before we got on, is from Capitol Heights, Maryland. And he always tells me he's from DC. I always give him a hard time, man. You're not from DC. You're from the Maryland side of Capitol Heights. But I know it crossover on both sides. But I'm curious, growing up with your grandparents, what was it like from a monetary perspective and your earliest memories of money?
My earliest memories of money from a monetary standpoint, I know my grandmother cleaned houses. My granddad was a maintenance man. So, every little penny counted. And I always remember my grandmother doing everything she can to stretch that dollar. I never really had much. So I had to rely on what was given to me via my grandmother, via my granddad. So money to me was like was something that I always wanted because I didn't have it, and I knew that one day once I got it, I was going to do something good with it. Like the first thing, like buying my grandparents a house and just giving back to the community.
No, I love it, man. That's something that is very humbling, and you come up from tough times, and obviously being able to be in a position to where you are, but staying close to home when you went to school for college, University of Maryland, such a great university. And you had an opportunity to play early at that university, but off the field, you switched to criminal justice, from criminal justice to study art. And what was some of the reasons of why you did that, especially as you grew up in and around the University of Maryland?
My grandparents, so my family, art runs in my family. So I didn't really know that but I learned that once I got drafted. So I feel like it was in me. It was a part of me. It was like something called me to go into that direction. So when I switched for criminal justice, went to art studio, and I remember going when I arrived in San Jose, California to play for the 49ers. I opened up an art gallery.
Okay.
There, I ended up taking a class, and the rest was history when it comes to the world of arts and acting, producing, and things of that nature.
I'd love for you to share more on that passion and how you explored it and eventually correlates to some of the work that you're doing now. Because for me, like, I've been around great mentors that have tons and tons of beautiful art, butterflies, skulls, all the above. One of my mentors has an amazing correlation in structure of how he built his home in and around art. So I'm always fascinated to see that vision because I'm an engineer by trade. So I'm straight sticks and bricks and concrete and rough and tough. But I value, and I'm driving cities and you see beautiful things and murals from that perspective. But give me the breakdown of how you saw that passion and how it correlates to the work that you're exploring now.
Yeah, I think it was something that I felt. You know what I mean? I just felt there was something there, and it was like calling me from an internal standpoint. And as I started to pursue it, I felt a relief. I felt like something was right. It just felt good. It felt great. So it's something I really wanted to continue to pursue, and I did. I don't think I really saw a vision with it. I was just letting it take me to different places.
And I'm curious, especially with those off-field passions, being art and creativity, was there ever a moment where that clashed with your field persona? Especially a guy like me who's had a less artful career of just running through walls and running through people. How do you envision that persona between elegance and creativity, but then obviously your on-field persona of, you were a dominant player, to say the least.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your words. I think whenever we go out and we play the game of football, I think it is a form of art because we're painting a picture, and once you learn a technique and you learn that, especially when you learn that everything you do on the football field, you're always going to prevail at it. It becomes art to you because then you start to do it over and over and over again, and you get so good at it. And that feels like you're painting something. You're painting a picture, and it's the creativity in what you're doing. Like from a technical standpoint, maybe it's a technique you learn. You do it over and over. It becomes a form of art, and then you figure, okay, if I can do it this way, let me try it this way. Let me try it that way. It's almost as if it's painting, and those strokes just keep getting broader and broader.
Yeah, man, I love that because I wholeheartedly agree with you. It's an art to master something, but then once you do master it in one form or fashion, to be able to expand upon it and build other dimensions and depths to it is definitely exciting and gives you that dopamine drive to continue to push and push and push. I'm curious, while you were at Maryland, was there ever a specific moment, game, conversation that you realized coming up from tough times in the DC area, man, I can really change my family's financial future and our ultimate trajectory of our family at the end of the day, especially from football?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I learned that, so when I was a sophomore, I say junior in college, I started, there was rumors saying that I'd be like a late first round or early second round draft pick. So when I found that out, I was like, okay, my junior year, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. And that's all I ever really wanted. That was my biggest objective, was to change the dynamic of my family, especially my grandmother. I wanted to get back to her, help her, and just repay her for what she's been able to do for my siblings and I. So the draft came up, and I remember, well, not the draft, but that year, my junior year came up. I remember sitting down with my grandparents, letting them know that, hey, I'm going to leave college. And my granddad looked at me, he said, why do you want to do that? I said, Pops, I got a chance to make a lot of money. He was like, okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess it looked like, it's almost as if they didn't believe what I was telling them, right? So that day, we at Radio City Music Hall. I got my grandmother, grandfather there, my family. And next thing you know, 49ers is up. They call me. I go out. I just remember having tears of joy. My grandparents excited and happy. And I mean, the rest was history after that.
Yeah, man, they're looking at us like, man, our grandson is talking about some movie stuff. I don't really believe this until it actually happens, and then now they're a part of the movie, for lack of better words, and stars in the movie with you. So, no, that's super dope, man. I appreciate you sharing that. I think, especially as a young guy watching you in San Fran and having played against you, I always felt that you played with a ton of passion and emotion. And especially like you had a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, to say the least, but a positive one from that standpoint. Was there ever a moment in your career that there was a big misconception about who Vernon Davis was?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Early on, when I came into the league, I was, I had to learn how to control my emotions. Of course, I wanted to do really well as far as my career goes. And sometimes as a young guy, you have to really learn that it's not about you, it's about the team. We have to be selfless instead of selfish and put the team first. And once you learn how to do that, then everything else will take care of itself. And there was a moment where Coach Singletary sent me to the locker room because I had a me attitude. It wasn't really me. It was just the identity that I was taking on from watching different players in the league and holding on to that persona. But, after the talk with Coach Singletary, I learned that, hey, if I do this and I just be who I am, everything else will take care of itself. And that's when everything took off.
Man, I love it. Do you mind sharing a little bit of insight of what that conversation was like with Coach Singletary?
Yeah, he basically called me in the next day. I remember sitting home with my kid's mom. I'm laying back in bed and I see him on TV with the rant when he said, I can't play. I'd rather play with 10 guys than to play with someone that's all about themselves. I want winners. I'm looking at him like, that's crazy. Like, so I get a text. I go in the next day. I walk into his office. He say, son, you can be the best. He said, you got a lot of potential. He said, but in order for you to reach your potential, you have to learn to be a team guy. It's not about you, it's about the team. So when he said that, I just remember myself crying, some tears coming down my eyes because, I could relate to what he was saying. I felt it was right. And I think after that, when I walked out of that room, I became his favorite guy.
Man, no, that's powerful, man. I that is, to be able to, have a coach, care enough about you to pull you into that room, to have that conversation, seeing that growth within you, I think is not only a powerful moment from his perspective, but even more powerful for you to embrace it the way you embraced it, to change yourself for the betterment of not only yourself, but also your teammates at the same time. So love that, and love to hear that you shared that story. Getting into a little bit more football, tell me about the transition and how you got traded and being traded to a Super Bowl championship organization from that standpoint. How was that for you? And I wasn't fortunate enough to ever be traded. I got cut and then I had to go chase my Super Bowls.
Yeah, I think as an offensive player, I think it can be really challenging from especially like a wide receiver, tight end. It can be challenging mid-season to another team, especially if you're playing with a guy like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, because the dialogue and just like the amount of knowledge you have to consume from a playbook standpoint is vast. So if you look at, you can go back and kind of look at how I was sprinkled in. I didn't play as much as I should have played. That was the lack of me understanding in its entirety as far as the playbook goes. And also, you can look at not Julio Jones, but DeAndre Hopkins when he got traded to Kansas City Chiefs. He didn't play. Everybody's wondering why isn't D-Hop on the field? It's just, the understanding. I mean, most of the guys that are out there, they've been playing for 3-4 years with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Now you got a guy coming in and he has to learn all of that in like a month. It's impossible. But I'm going to say the silver lining is that Super Bowl, like being able to be there in that Super Bowl. Even though I didn't play as much as I wanted to play, I still won a Super Bowl. Now when everybody talk about me, they're like, Super Bowl champion Vernon Davis. So that's a beautiful thing, man.
No question. I mean, I would equate that experience to me going to, I wasn't fortunate enough to win the Super Bowl, but I got to the Super Bowl with Philly in my last year in the league. But that terminology. Like, you have the education, the understanding of how to fit into that offense, but the terminology and those nuances that make those teams and those players elite, and that seamless communication between you and the quarterback, is one of the hardest things to replicate in such a short period of time. And then on top of that, they flipping the playbook on its head depending on who you're playing each and every single week. So those nuances, but a lot of people and fans don't understand. I want to transition into a segment that I call Show Me the Receipts. And you were obviously a first-round draft pick, 6 overall to the 49ers. Do you remember what your first check was when you turned pro and how much it was?
Oh, man, I remember seeing all them zeros in my bank account, man. I think that first check was like $3 million in the bank account. It was crazy.
Ooh, okay.
And what? Oh, come on. I was like, what? $3 million in that? You mean tell me I got some more coming behind that? Oh, man.
Yeah.
I thought I was fly guy.
Yeah, no, I love it, man. No, those zeros are definitely nice to have and be able to earn them as well. When you made that first check, was there any particular point in time that you felt like, no matter what, I'm going to be good when you made that check? And is there any point in time throughout that first contract or subsequent contracts that you're like, man, me and my family are great?
Yeah, I did. I felt like we were set. I felt like we were set for life. And I knew that I could buy them anything they wanted. It wasn't nothing that I could buy for them. Because I felt like I made it. I made that dream. You know, that dream you have as a little boy. Imagine laying in the bed as 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and you got that post on your wall of Barry Sanders or Jerry Rice. You know what I mean? You're reaching for that, and then all of a sudden that dream comes true. It's so surreal, but in that moment when you make it, you're looking in the mirror in that facility, and you're like, man, I just changed the dynamic of my family. I can do anything I want for my grandparents. This is amazing.
That is a powerful moment for sure. I'm curious, on the flip side of that, was there ever a worse purchase that you've made that you also on the flip side don't regret?
Oh man, come on, man! I bought an Escalade put Lamborghini doors on. Do you remember 50 Cent came out with that song? I got that Lamborghini doors on that Escalade. Man, I had the doors that Lawrence Maroney. I don't know if you remember him, play running back, but
no,
he was right with me. He had this Denali he had Kool-Aid on it, and it was like candy apple red. I had my Lamborghini, I had my Escalade with the Lamborghini doors. We used to pull up beside each other in Arizona together because that's where we were training. Yeah. But man, that was a good feeling, man. I don't regret it. I don't.
Okay. Yeah, man. Now that's you got to enjoy yourself, to say the least. It's fruits of your labor and good mistakes to make early on in your career when you know you can continue to make up for it. You're into obviously art and collecting it from that perspective. What is a piece of art that you've paid for that you cherish, and can you explain what that was?
It's a cat. It's a cat made out of bike tires. So I've had this cat when I got it. I bought it from an artist of mine in my art gallery. It was something about this cat that just stood out to me. It represented protection to me. And I had it. I didn't understand why I bought this cat, because I was never really into cats. I was always into dogs, but it was something beautiful, magnificent about this cat. And it's something I've held on to for the last 15 years.
Okay. Where does it sit in your house?
It's actually in my it's in my basement, right next to my gym area. I just keep it there. That way when I walk in, I can see it every time I walk in, and it's just a great piece, man. Wonderful piece.
Okay. No, I love them, and you'll have to share it with us at some point in time. But I'm excited to get into this next segment, because I'm always fascinated to how guys transition from the sports life into the business world, and understanding what kind of some of their biggest wins are. I mean, you've done a lot. I mean, you've been on TV, in TV, film, interior design studios, and all the above. Even wrote your own memoir from that perspective. But what would you coin as your biggest win to date?
My biggest win today, oh man, I would say, gosh, my biggest win today, I would say the adjustment I was able to make after the game of football, because, I mean, I remember walking out of the Commander's facility, man, and I retired at year 14. I didn't want to retire. My plan was to play 20 years. But what happened was my granddad died. You know what I mean? I never had surgery, Sue. I never had surgery. I've always taken care of my body. You know, I've
no surgeries, no nothing.
Never had surgery. Never.
Man, you've been blessed.
Yeah,
you've been blessed.
I just, you know, similar to yourself, you know, I was big on like taking care of my body. You know, we walk into the league, it's just like, it's one of those things, like you understand that taking care of your body off the football field is the biggest thing, the most important thing you can do. But to go back, I remember walking out of the facility, I was kind of depressed. I was depressed. My anxiety was kicking in. I was like, what do I do now? I kind of had a game to do it. I already had businesses and things set up, but I wanted to go into acting, producing, things of that nature. So being able to like do my first film, A Message from Brianna, produce it, had a lead role in it, and then continue to put the work in and go on. And then working beside Morgan Freeman, Bruce Willis, Luke Wilson, Devon Sawa. I think you know, I've come a long way, man, a long way. So I would say that's one of the biggest wins I've had in my journey.
Man, I don't disagree with you by any means. That transition out of leaving the sport that has built and molded you for majority of your life and always been a part of you, then it feels like it's ripped away from you. But you were even fortunate enough, like I was, to walk away on your own terms versus it not being able to. But there's still something scary about stepping off that cliff to not knowing where you're going to land, and you got to build it up while you're in the midst of the air from that standpoint. So for me, like I can wholeheartedly see that. But you talk about building films and what type of investments have you put into that space and really said, I'm gonna double down for these reasons?
I put some investments into that space. I mean, I think it's one of those spaces that is sometimes it's hard to really, you don't, to me, unless you're working with like Paramount or Skydance, something like that, you really don't want to take these big chances on the film. You know what I mean? Unless you get like a minimum guarantee. The best way is get a minimum guarantee, something that's solid, right? You take an MG and now you have and just knowing. It's like the knowing. It's what you don't know will hurt you, what you know will help you, right? If you know that you're going to create this film for $500,000, but you're going to be able to sell it for 1.5, right? That gives you the flexibility to go into it and say, hey, I'm going to win at this. I know what it looks like, right? But a lot of guys get in trouble when they go in and invest in these films. They're being told that they're going to have be at the mezzanine level. They're going to have get their money back plus 20%. It's like you're being told these things, but is this really true? You have to really know. But one thing I can say about whether it's film, whether it's restaurant industry, just any business, like taking these small failures, as long as you have small failures, right? You can get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. I love the small failures because I learned so much, man. It's
100%.
Yeah, it's taught me how to like walk into any room and negotiate and understand what's going on. You know what I mean? And my best friend, one thing I did, Sue, when I was playing the game of football, I hired a business attorney because I knew they understood business to a whole nother. We have to go through them to create these things, right? So if we have to go through them and structure these documents, they understand the world of business. So I hired them for a year, then fired them. Because I knew that once I learned, y'all pay the $10,000 a month, because it's only, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna cost me that much. So pay the $10,000 a month and let them go at the end of the year. I learned I learned something valuable, right?
Man, and you paid for an education from somebody that would take people decades to figure out on their own from that standpoint. So, I mean, that's impressive to have that foresight and that understanding. But I'm curious, when you did get all those learnings and you're in a place where you're at right now, have you been able to and even had a want to teach others, especially other athletes and entertainers that are coming up in the space?
Yeah, I take guys under my wing and I do business with them, right? Like right now, I got a guy named Kelvin Harmon who played with me with the Commanders. Right now, we on the table right now. I brought him this deal. He's done playing, right? We on the table right now. We got a restaurant / bar venue project going on that I've structured. So basically, we're creating an LLC and we're going to take the LLC and buy interest into this restaurant. So we're doing that right now. So I take him. I've also introduced him to these partners. He has this. He's interested in the car space, so he wants to like lease his car out and things of that nature. So right now we got him a situation where he get a right chance to lease his Mercedes Benz out for an entire year. You know what I mean? So I take guys under my wing, kind of like talk to them about like structuring, percentages and things of that nature, as well as my son. I took my son under my wing. He understands business. He understands how to negotiate and things of that nature.
Man, that's impressive. I love it. I'm curious, and I hope you can take me under your wing one of these days, because I'm super curious about this HDTV piece called Rock the Block. And I've been trying to get on HDTV for my entire life. And I love construction. I'm an engineer by trade. And just explain to us what that's all about, because my understanding, it's real estate, home flipping, and construction, which is all things I love. And I would love to learn from you of how you've been able to dominate that space with Rock the Block.
Sue, one thing I can promise you right now, when we get off this phone, if you want to take my place next year and be on the show, I can get you on a phone call with the creator of the show and have you play the same role I played in renovation.
Let's do it. It's done deal.
You my brother. I can do that. Make that connection. I'm quite the connector, man. I've learned that throughout my career. I'm a connector. I'm really good at it. But yeah, the show was amazing, man. Let me tell you, Hulk Hogan's daughter, Brooke Hogan, and the rest of the group, we came together in a competition show called Rock the Block Renovation Design. Oh my goodness, man. I learned so much on this show. It was such a great journey. And I think I even like got emotional on this show because I was so just proud of how far I've come, in a space that I had no idea I'd be taking on. You know what I'm saying? It's always, I'm always the role of like walking in, when I'm flipping at home, I walk in and kind of see what's been going on, but never getting my hands dirty and getting in there and doing it. So I learned so much, man. I even left the show and came back and started working on my own house.
See, man, I hope I'm serious. Like, I got an excavator, I got a skid steer. So I'm talking about from demo to doing concrete, like paving, all the above. Like, let's go. I want to remodel and design. Man, I'm dead serious.
Dude, let me hold on. Let me call him right. I'm gonna wait till we get off the show, man. You got me excited, man. I want to make this.
Bro. We gonna connect on it for sure.
So I can link y'all.
Yeah, we'll connect offline and exchange info for sure, man. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, I'm just excited to understand, like, what was that process and how did you enjoy like growing in that particular space and hunting for different deals, especially in the design world and construction world and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, it's art. It's art. And just learning like at another, because it's one thing to know what we know and learn we learn, but we can never stop learning. We're supposed to live as we're going to die tomorrow, learn as we're going to live forever. I think Gandhi said that. That was a quote by him. But it's very true. Like, no matter how much you know, and from playing football, so you played the game as long as you played, but there were still things that you were reverting back to. And your coach was there to correct you and say, hey, no, Sue, do it like this. I want you, it's this way, not that way. Yeah. It's just like everything else that we do. So being able to like get in and get my hands dirty and just understand renovation design at the highest level was beautiful, man.
Vernon, you talk about your son, and if I'm not mistaken, he's going to go to Maryland. But tell me how you've not only molded him in the business world, as you talked about, you had a business lawyer and taught you for a year and stuff, but then especially with this NIL world, like how are you taking your son under your wing and he's listening to you to prepare for this uncharted territory?
He's young, so he don't understand. I was trying to explain to him, like, NIL is similar to what you've been seeing me do, Gian. All these products that come to the house, all these deals that I'm still doing since I've been playing ball, like, it's pretty much NIL. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's still flow that I've been getting from a endorsement standpoint. Just, you see what it is. Don't worry about it. It's going to come to you. We're not going to go out and try to get anything right now because you have to play the game of football. Like, once Gianni Davis becomes who I know you can become, then that's when people will start approaching, and then it makes it a lot easier for us to be out and go get deals for you. It's going to happen. We're not going to really rely on the NIL agent to do it. It's we can use the same people that I have working for me to go out and get you deals. And so don't even get caught up in NIL agent and things of that nature. So I just kind of talk to him about it and just keep him at bay and let him know, look, the real thing is you playing football. Don't get caught up into the your ultimate goal is to make it to the NFL, right?
Yep.
Money that you get now is cool and dandy. Do you need it? No. Is it good to have it? You know what I mean? So you just do what you do and everything else take care of itself.
Man, that's an amazing position to be in and great advice, because I think it's something that I've tried to press upon young kids that have asked me for their opinions and their advice when getting into these opportunities. It's like, if you let focus on the main thing, let the main thing be the main thing, all the ancillary pieces will come to you more than you can even imagine from that perspective. And that's really ultimate. But if you go chase it, you may get a couple wins, but that may be it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's right.
I'm curious. So is there a biggest lesson that you had to learn the hard way through that process, or anything especially as you're transitioning and transitioned out of football to where you're at right now?
Yeah, the biggest lesson I learned is the hard way is just being patient.
Ooh, man, you hit it on the nail on the head, man.
Oh man, being patient, man. And I think once I learned to be patient, now I go do anything that I do. Everybody's like, thank you for waiting. Thank you for this. Like, I was like, oh man, like in my mind, I'm like, y'all don't understand that this.
Finally.
What I learned in this space, they call it hurry up and wait. Like I might get a call time of like, especially when it comes to acting, like I might get a call time of 9 a.m., but I don't go on till like 2 p.m. So you learn to just like embrace that time and use that time wisely. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a beautiful thing because it allows me to do anything and just be patient and just, it's beautiful, man, once you learn.
Man, it's crazy that you say patience, because I wholeheartedly agree with you. I have an amazing mentor in Michigan, and he's become a business partner in so many different levels after like being just up underneath him, because I would leave my time in Detroit from practice and go straight to his office and be just learning and listening to board calls, all these different things. But I'd always ask him, was like, when can we do some investments? When can we do that? He was just like, patience, wait, it'll come. Right. Now it's like it's an overload of opportunities that come for you. Now you got to sift through which ones are good, which are positive, which are bad, and all these different things. So, I 100% agree with you. Patience is one of the hardest things and biggest lessons to learn in life. I'm going to end our conversation, although it's been amazing, and I'm excited to follow up more on the HGTV side of things. What is the biggest price you've had to pay for a breakthrough to date?
That's a good question. Dang, you got me thinking, man. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
I like it. You take your time.
Man, only thing I can say is, I'm going to say putting my trust in somebody who I thought loved me, right? That's what I'm gonna say. That's the biggest price I had to pay. I went years with this person, and I thought they were like really had my back, but the whole time, as I sit back now at 42 years old, I can see that it's only been a game. Everything that I thought was to be true, it was all for them. It wasn't for me. It was for them. And I went years with this person just to understand and find out at the biggest moment of my life, not just the biggest moment of my life, but the most difficult, one of the most challenging times of my life, they decided to walk away. You know what I mean? So just going into the journey and just putting, like, I'm talking about investing in this person, doing investments with this person. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know what I mean? You find out who's really there for you at the end of the day. Because people will do anything for you. They'll come to funerals. They'll be there to support you. But when it's something that they feel like they're afraid of, they'll run away from you. And that's what I learned that. So yeah, it's cool though. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing because life is all about what you learn.
Yeah, man. I feel for you because I recently lost one of my best friends that in the same similar situation, going through the hardest time in my entire life. And I'm not sure what yours was. And if you wish to share, you can. But losing my dad, like that was one of the toughest times to date that I've ever had to deal with a year and a half ago or so now. And you would think these people are there for you, but they're really not. And it's one of the most powerful things to be able to get through that and understand that. And it was a great breakthrough for me because now I know who was truthfully there for me, and I really see those people for who they are.
Dang, that's tough. You're right, because it can be a couple ways. It can be people that can be there for you doing when you lose someone, but they're not there for you on something else that really matters. Mm-hmm. Or it could be people that it could be the opposite. Like they're there for you during this time, but they're not there for you when you lose somebody. So it's like it's a reverse thing. And I truly understand where you're coming from too, because that's a big telltale and who can be there for you. And I'm sorry about your dad, man. And I truly understand how that feels. As you know, I lost my brother, Bonte, but I also lost my 20-year-old sister a month after him. So
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that was tough. But I'm sure, I don't know how long it's been. How long has it been since you lost your dad?
It'll be 2 years in this July.
Okay. Yeah, you found some time to like really find healing. But even though we heal, we can never really fully get past that. I feel like it's going to always be there because you probably have moments where you just think about him. He's not here.
No question.
You know what I mean? But it makes us life though, man. It makes us wake up. Right? You wake up every morning with gratitude because you're like, man, I get a chance to do this again and breathe and get a chance at life again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Wholeheartedly. And I didn't even realize, like, there was times I was mad at my dad and not really mad, just upset that he made a specific decision on like a business or he bought a building, for example, back home in Portland. And I told you about like my excavator and my skid steer and all that stuff. Lo and behold, the summer after he passed, which was this past summer, every single day I took my sons out there and was on those machines. But I would have never done that and spent that time with my kids if he hadn't went and bought that building. And like, those are the different things and moments of when you think about him and like, he had all these grand visions, and it's funny just to see how it's all laid out. And you think about him all the time, as you mentioned, as I'm sure what you do with the people that have passed in your family.
Yeah. It's tough, man. It is very challenging, man. And to this day, Sue, man, I still take Lexapro, man. I don't know if you know what it is, but it's depression, anxiety medication. I take it. Maybe I'll get off of it one day, but right now I got it. It keeps me calm. You know what I mean? Without it, I don't think I can. It'd be tough. Challengeful.
Well, I appreciate you, man. This has been an amazing conversation. I look forward to joining your pod here soon, and we'll catch up here again soon. Thank you, Vernon.
Thanks for having me.
The information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified financial and or legal professionals before making any legal or financial decisions or investments.
Man, what an amazing conversation with Vernon Davis, a man of many talents, from art to interior design and construction. I'm excited to connect with him on HGTV, so hopefully that can come through. But I think my biggest takeaway from this conversation was his biggest breakthrough that he had to pay for, and people in and around his life, not only growing up in tough times in DC, but like to have somebody with you that's leveraging this all this time in your career, in your life, and then realize that they're not really there for you. That hit home for me in a lot of different ways. And as I mentioned in that conversation, sometimes it's best to just let people go. And I think he had to go through that. And also, I mean, the passing of his brother and sister, as he mentioned, and people showing up and not showing up. So again, an amazing conversation with Vernon Davis. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to No Free Lunch on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.